little town in Alman, Missouri. Illinois.
And when's your birthday?
March the 13th, 1917.
1917. Who's your father?
Floyd Green.
Floyd Green. And your mother?
Dora. You know, maiden name?
Yeah.
Parks.
Parks.
Green.
And where were your parents from?
They're from Missouri.
Both from Missouri?
Yeah, right.
Do you know if any of your grandfathers fought in the Civil War? Grandfathers, great-grandfathers?
I don't remember of any. Your dad was in the World War I.
He was?
For a while.
What kind of work did your father do?
All this odd job, whatever we could find. Back then, there wasn't nothing to do.
Yeah. And you say he was in World War I?
Yes.
Did you ever talk about the war, what he did?
I never heard him mention too much about it, no.
And what part of Missouri is that located where you were
It's
born?
in Ozarks. I don't know where Springfield. You know what Springfield is? It's north of Springfield, west
Okay.
Springfield.
And as a small boy, what chores did you do around the house?
Cut wood and carried got the milk. We had to carry. We got it from the neighbor. Had to carry milk in and go work in the garden and take care of the chicken.
Did you live on a farm?
Well, it wasn't a farm. It was in town. We still had to do farm chores. And when I was old enough, I worked on a farm.
Use a walking plow?
Yes, yes.
How many acres could you plow in one day with a walking plow?
All time. Well, I don't know really. I never tried that. How many acres? Just tried till I got done.
And how many acres did you farm?
Well, we didn't have a farm. That's helped others. I don't know, about an acre a day, I guess. Breaking plow, walking plow, cultivator. We'll have plow corn and with walking cultivator. It's hard work, but
When did you start school?
before that start, at little school out in Tishko, they call it. Small school, 8th grade, as far as I got. I started to high school, but Dad got sick and I had to stop and go to work. And I started on the WPA. I don't remember how many remember that, but
Did you say you worked with the WPA?
I worked on the WPA. I guess about 16 years old I started those.
What did you do for them? What kind of work?
Worked on the roads and cemeteries, dug sod, worked roads and parks.
Okay, what kind of work? What were your duties working on the roads? What did you do?
All of had one of these slips, they call them, hauling dirt with horses. Horse using axes and holes, rough axes to dig up roads.
You know, were you actually building the road from start to finish? Like you had to chop down the trees in the road bed?
Yes.
Or just redoing old roads?
And just redo roads. But I did build a highway though. I wasn't on WPA, it was later in the years. We built a road about 15 miles long, the highway, Highway 41 now. But spreading concrete dry out on the ground. Mixer come along, mixed up out on the ground. That is still every day. But was smoothing out that concrete was the job, and the concrete eats you up.
How thick was the concrete in the road?
Oh, we spread it about that thick,
Yeah.
2.5 inches.
Now, when you worked in the parks, what'd you do? You said you worked in the parks also?
Yes, built tables and cleaned up and just Little thing, cut down trees. I done that when I was CC camp. So I was 3C camp.
What is the difference between the WPA program and the CCC program? What was?
The WPA is a works project. That's like I was in Depression time back in '33 when it was real bad, nothing to do with it. That's what they brought along to get people to work, to live on money to live on. And for the CC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, we run around parks and fought fires in California. In CC camp.
How long did you work in the WPA?
Oh, I see, it was about 3 years, I guess.
What was your monthly salary?
10 and a half a week.
10 and a half a week.
That's what I got. And I spent that on Saturday night buying groceries.
How was the WPA organized? Was it kind of a military organization or?
No, it was state.
It was state.
It was state organ, yeah.
Who was your boss?
Well, I just can't remember now. It was a long time.
And
so long.
what was the chain of command in the WPA? How many boss did you have, and who did you report to? And
Well, I just reported to the field boss was on duty. I don't know where he got his orders from. I don't know. I'm sure there was a state project all over the state of Missouri. I don't know just.
And then, how long were you in the CCC program?
2 hitches. I was in 6 months the first time, and about a year the second time. I guess.
Remember when you joined the first time? What year?
I got my discharge in there. I forgot. Be honest. Get them discharges.
Really?
The metal box and the discharge folder.
And what were your duties with the 3C program?
Well, in Missouri, we built parks and roads, just maintain roads and clean out ditches. And then we trip to California, the Rio Grande, we fought fires and took care of roads, mountain roads.
Tell me about fighting forest fires.
That's a pretty good job. My duty was carrying a 5-gallon water can on my back for cleanup crew.
Now, cleanup crew, that.
Mop up behind the, clean up hot spots along the trails and where we get to.
What part of California were you in?
San Luis Obispo, out there at Rio Grande was where we stationed.
Were the duties in the 3C camp similar to the WPA? Was about the same thing?
Well, similar. But that was provided, I was just provided for jobs, for people. But,
And what was your salary in the CCC camp?
We was getting $30 a month. 25 of it went home, and I got $5 out of it.
Now, I understand that was more of a military organization.
It was similar to military. We had to follow the same rules, had reveille and retreat, stand retreat and all that.
Where was the camp in Missouri where you worked?
It was Marshall, Missouri.
Marshall?
Down at Man Meter Park, that's where we were.
You stay in barracks?
Down there we didn't have barracks, no, we stayed at home.
Yeah.
We reported in. Of course, from California we had the barracks, we had a camp.
What was the number of the camp in California?
Number.
Remember the...
Don't know.
Civilian Conservation Corps. See if that'll pick that up. Yeah, 1937 enrolled. This is April 5th, 1937.
January 2nd, 1935.
Yeah. So January 2nd, 1935 and April 5th, 1937. How long were you allowed to stay in the CCC camp? Was there a time limit?
I think they were about 6 months, I believe. That's long, I forgot.
Okay, this is. So you were in the War Department of Fort Leavenworth, Kansas.
That's what it says.
Huh. So this says April of 37 to September of 37. Yeah, that's
This one, 331, 36.
that's
Boy, Missouri.
between 5 and 6 months. After the CCC program, what'd you do?
Well, I went to work. I mean, I left home and done my first real farm work. Went hitchhike 100 miles to another town and worked hard. And then after summer, I come back home. And then we left that place and moved. I still done farm work, pitch hay.
And where were you working on farms in Missouri?
Malden, Missouri. Was in the hay field for a long time, pitching hay. Did stationary bear, and that was hard, hot work.
I've done that before.
Yeah,
Bucking bays.
yes, lots. So just that till I volunteered to go to the Army in 1941, or 1940, December 1940.
So did you join the
I
Army
joined the National Guard
the Missouri National Guard?
in 1940, and they mobilized in 1941, January.
Where did you take your basic training?
Camp Robinson, Arkansas, Little Rock.
And what unit were you a member in Missouri?
There's we'll have 35th Division, I think that's on
So 35th Division?
there. Yeah. Company 9, 138th Infantry, 35th.
Would you describe basic Camp Robinson? What was it like?
Well, it was rough. Of course, we had all of our, we had to go through all the exercises of battles, you know. And
What was your average day in basic? What time you got up? What'd you do in the daytime, and what time to go to bed?
well, we had reveille at 6 o'clock. We had 10 reveille and then retreated. 5 o'clock, we get 4:35. I forgot. But it's hard work.
What'd your meals consist of?
Sure.
Your meals?
Oh, they were good. I helped cook a lot of them.
You did.
I was cooking.
What'd you cook?
Beans, potatoes, and pork chop. Well, meat, any kind. And I was working in the kitchen the day that Pearl Harbor happened.
Tell me, what were your reaction when you heard about that?
It didn't sound too good. I was supposed to went home that weekend. Before that happened on Sunday, and I was supposed to went home, but I worked at another guy's place, so he'd go home. And when that happened, I didn't know whether I'd ever get home again or not, you know. But I did the next weekend. We went home, but we didn't stay home. About midnight Saturday night, they called us back to pack up and get ready to leave. So we was on alert down there before we left for quite a while. But,
When you left Camp Robinson, where'd you go?
went to Fort Ord, California, on into Fort Lewis, Washington.
Yeah, I bet that.
So what's that? I heard you say a while ago. We was on 30-minute alert there from December till March. Or we left in June, I guess, when we went to Lucian Island.
Would you describe traveling on a troop train? What was travel like in those days?
Well, yeah, it wasn't too bad. We had, you know,
You had a Pullman?
we had Pullman cars, yes, we had. Uptown, I guess you'd say.
And
it wasn't too bad on troop train.
traveling to the Aleutian Islands, you go by land or sea?
Sea, left Seattle.
What kind of, was it a convoy or did you have
No, I think we just left on our own. And on this one trip, we started to Dutch Harbor, Alaska, but they was bombing Dutch Harbor at the time we left, and we couldn't get there, so we had to wound up in Aleutian Island. We was up there 2 years.
Ever meet the Japanese up there, the Aleutians?
Yes.
Tell me about it. What happened?
They had on Adak Island, where the Japs were, when we got there, and they had a big battle there. They brought troops in. It was fresh from the United States. They wasn't dressed for the weather. It was cold, miserable. And they came in and saw a lot of them froze to death, I guess. A lot of them got shot at each other. Not seeing who they're shooting at, they just shot at anything that moved, and it was bad. It was a bad one. Then on Kiska Island, this has never been told, I guess, what really happened there. Well, what really happened was that on the island I was on, the Zadak, small island, we'd have no way to, on land to travel. And we built a runway, but what we was doing, we had P-38 planes flying guard over us. And one of them pilots went down the runway on Kiska, and he didn't see nothing, no Japs there. It wasn't long before there had been about 10,000 there, 14,000. But he told them this, and they wouldn't believe him. He says, ain't no Jap on that island. But they brought in a big task force. Went on the island, and there wasn't a Jap on there, but they killed a bunch of our people. The same way, I mean, they're shooting the green and scared and shooting at everything that moved. Of course, we had a lot of people killed because of that big mistake that they had. They wouldn't believe us. Boy, he told me there's no Jap on that island when he made a run down the runway on the island. Nothing there. They don't know how they got out. But they'd get off a boat, that's the only way they could. They didn't know when or anything, but they left.
Did you have a convoy escort when you were going up there? Was we expecting any Japanese submarines or?
Yes. When we landed on Kiska Island, Umdak Island, we landed there first. Then we moved on up to another island on Adak. Actor, not Actor. But anyhow, we went in there. I think it's the only ship that went in there. With a sub followed us in, Jap sub. Of course, we had swords around us, you know, and they got after him to run him out. I think they got him, but anyhow, he followed us in. But we were the only inhabitants on that island to start with. We had to walk wherever we went. We built a camp, but carrying everything on our shoulder. And we built a runway. We had to build a road to get in there with trucks. So we could build this runway, but we managed, we done it.
What was your reaction before you landed? What were you thinking?
Oh, I really didn't know what to think. It wasn't feel too good on the ship. I was sick when I landed. I think about fifth man off the boat, off the ship itself. Had everything on my back that I had, you know. It was in September when this happened, and the salmon was running. We crossed a little stream that was full of salmon, full of fish. They'd try to get up in there, you know, and we walked across that little stream with fish, you know, without getting wet. There's so many in there, just packed in there. You know, packed like sardines, you've heard that, you know. That's what it was.
Were you expecting to meet Japanese on
Well,
the
yeah,
islands?
we didn't know what was on. We really didn't know what was on the island. But we walked in and
You ever see the Japanese up there?
I did see him.
So no one knows what happened to them. They just disappeared.
They disappeared, yeah. They all loaded up and took off one night, I guess. One night.
So during the 2 years you were there, what was your everyday life during those 2 years?
Guard duty. Just full guard every day, you know. Go up on the mountain, come down off that, and used to be froze solid as ice.
What mountain was that?
I don't know what the name of it was. It's mountain there on the Numnack Island. We could see the Bering Sea and the Pacific Ocean. It wasn't very wide across it. It's pretty rough duty.
So you there for 2 years, and then where'd you go?
I come home, come back from Lucian, went to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. That was in June, and stayed there. I don't know, left in October, I guess, going back
Was
over
that 43?
40,
43?
42.
42.
Let's see, 43. Okay, 43.
So
We left, the rest of their outfit up, that's what it was. We left there, and I was assigned to 160B in Cape Hattiesburg, Indiana. And they were prepared to go back overseas again.
and where in Indiana was it?
Hattiesburg, Cape Hattiesburg,
Okay.
where we located. Left there and went to Scotland and then to England.
Tell me about the trip to Europe.
We left New York at night. I didn't get to see the statue or anything when I left. It was dark. We traveled across to Scotland. We landed.
What ship are you on?
I really don't know.
Was it Liberty ship or?
No, it was big. Yeah, I guess it was.
It wasn't the Queen Mary or one of those?
No, I wasn't on that. A lot of them were on that.
Mm-hmm.
It said,
What kind of food did you have on the ship crossing the Atlantic?
greasy food. Made you say it. Yeah, more than a greasy sausage stuff. It's hard to eat and stand up there and eat it and try to keep up with your plate in the tray. Yeah.
What about your bunks? How were they arranged?
The overhead crawler didn't know space about that wide. With everything you had. That's all we had.
And how high were they stacked?
I think 6 high.
6 high?
Maybe 6 high.
Did you get seasick?
Yes. Yes, I did. Several times. But, and we landed in Scotland and rode train over to England. Still on the walls where we was camped. After
Did you have any contact with the Scots or the English people?
I didn't know, we just went on through. We didn't have no leave. We got off the boat onto the train, went out on through. We traveled pretty fast.
And then from England, where'd you go?
Went through France and went up into Belgium.
Were you in D-Day? Were you
No.
in the invasion?
No. I come back from Lucian when that happened. The day it happened in June 6th.
Yeah, June 6th to 44. So when did you land in France? You remember?
November 44. I guess it was.
Where'd you land?
Well, we crossed the channel in Southampton. And we went up the Seine River. We were far ways up in this before we got off. I don't remember just where we got off out of France. We got off there and it was raining every day and mud. I was assistant truck driver. I was in the truck. And I was so thankful for that. So that mud,
What kind of truck were you driving?
big GMC.
GMC, and what were you carrying?
We had equipment, people, times, and before we was captured, we was hauling, we was carrying a kitchen on it. We put, company else put their kitchen on our truck.
What was the reaction of French people to the Americans?
Well, I don't know, really, they didn't seem to mind, I guess. To me, I mean,
Were they friendly to you?
yeah. But I didn't have much acquaintance with French people. I There wasn't in any towns in France. They just on that truck all the time moving through. We just,
So you went through France into Belgium, and where'd you stop?
in Belgium, up there on the Siegfried line. We relieved the Second Army, 106 did it. We went up there and they was coming back as we went up and they said, oh, there's nothing to it, just a piece of cake, you know. Feel like it, there's nothing to it up there. Quiet, peaceful.
Now, are you actually at the Siegfried line?
Yes, we was on the
With
line.
all the dragon's teeth and everything?
Yeah.
Did you have any idea at all that the Germans were building up? Did you have any warning of any type?
No, we didn't. No, not one I opened, or just happened all of a sudden.
When the Bulge broke out, what did you do the very first thing when you heard about it?
When it broke, December the 16th, we went up on the line the 11th December. Then when it really happened on Friday morning, December the 16th, I don't know, about 5 o'clock, something like that, just, you never heard such a racket in your life. All that artillery going off, and the buzz bombs going on over, guys shooting at their rifle. But, oh, it was noisy, but.
So what did you do?
We were in a truck and we had orders to go out and feed a company of men. So we went out there and fed them. Snow on the ground and cold, and they in them foxholes, and we was in the truck, we were warm. And then that night we drove into a forest. I don't know where it's at, but into a forest, and we slept at night. Laid on a hard ground, nothing, just your overcoat, all we had on. Next morning we got up and started running. I guess they knew we were surrounded or something. Now we started trying to get out.
Were you in your truck?
We was in a truck. I had a 50 caliber machine gun on top of it, and I was standing up in the seat, manning it, and the driver, of course, the snow was coming down through it, and it snowed us.
Was it snowing?
Yeah, it was snowing. It was snowing, it was cold.
What part of Belgium you were in when that happened? You know,
Right out of St. Vincent, St. Vincent. Where we were at.
and you know which direction you were going?
No, I don't. We just kind of going in a circle. We lost our truck. We got too close to the edge and it kind of slid over and kind of got stuck, and another truck pulled by and says, get out, come on, let's go. Get in this truck. So we bailed out of it. When I did, I had my blanket up there with me, a GI blanket. So I just grabbed it and I went out the driver's side of the truck, got in the truck and left. Or everything in it, just sitting there. And we were, I don't know, second, third truck behind the Jeep that had 4 officers in it. It was going up a hill. Up on top of that hill, that Jeep just exploded. Everybody thought it was the tanks down with 88 on was shooting at us, you know, and they just stopped. That's it. Major walked back down the road with white flags in his hand, said, this is it, let's get up.
What was your reaction at that point?
Just didn't know what was going to happen to us then, you know. We lost everything. And I remember pulling a bolt out of my rifle and just throwing it over in the ditch, water, full of water, let it run. A lot of guys took the rifle with a barrel, you know, and slammed against trees, and of course they were loaded. Some of them shot themselves that way. Just crazy. Of course, we just stood around there for quite a while that evening waiting for them to come get us. Finally showed up. Put us off into a big orchard of some kind.
What'd you do in that period whenever you were waiting on the Germans? What were you doing?
We just fooled around, walked around the truck, you know, and took a can of milk, put it in our pocket, canned milk, you know, truck driver, you know. Like we had a D-bar, a candy bar, but I was gone over it for a long time.
And
It hurt us into an orchard. We had a fence around it. We slept at night. Me and him covered up with my blanket. Kept a little warm. But It saved her life, that blanket did too. The night we were out. The next morning we started walking it when Rita started telling us that without food and water.
How did the Germans treat you when you were first captured?
Well, they got a little arrogant to us, you know, slapped us around. They didn't do exactly what they said. A lot of guys had on overshoes, and some of them, that's all they had was overshoes, walking. And those that, in the daytime, they took overshoes off and was carrying them, you know. Germans took them away from them, threw them over in the field. This guy I was with, truck driver, he was German, he could talk to them, and he really talked to them. But telling them about leaving boys alone that had the overshoes, you know. That's all they got, but they need them to wear. And they let them have them. A lot of them kept them that way, him talking to them.
Now you said this guy saved your life?
Never, in the army, you know, take a break about every hour, 10-minute break every hour. That's what we done the walking, we got stopped for 10 minutes, we'd get up and go on, but as long as the last break we had, I got up slow, I always walked behind him. And he got ahead of me and he kept hollering at me, and I could talk about it weak, and I couldn't walk at all. My leg wouldn't work. And he kept hollering and sidestepped when I got up. He said, "What's the matter?" I said, "I can't make it, Pappy. I just can't walk any farther. I'll give out. The leg will give out." He said, "Yes, you can." I said, "No, I can't. I can't go any farther. Nothing's done, you know." He said, "You're going to make it," he said. He said, "Hang on." So I told Martin over his shoulder like that. So we went. He kind of drugged me, and I was stumbling along behind him. So we got to stop that night at the end of the road. Out there in the middle of the road, after I got there, I fell face down and just tried to vomit. I couldn't. I was sick. After later, I felt better then.
And what was his name?
Shrink.
Frank.
Theodore Shrink. Everybody knew him as Pappy because he was older than everybody called him Pappy.
Where's he from?
Spokane, Washington. He lives in Lynn now, it's his hometown.
So how far did the Germans march you?
Well, but at least best we can figure is about 30 miles, I guess.
And you know where they took you?
Yeah, I didn't know, but I forgot. A little town. We promised some food. We got there, but wasn't no food there.
Did you go through the Siegfried line?
We was already through the line. But
Okay.
we was on the other side of the line when we got over in Germany.
What happened then?
Well, we went to, next day we did finally get some cheese, little white cheese, and hardtack, they call it, and it was hard. We got that. Then we walked into Lewis and boxcars. 60 men to a car. And they're small cars. There's hardly room to sit down.
Is that the old 40 and 8?
So,
Is that what they call the 40 and 8?
I don't know.
That was a boxcar they had that was made for 8 horses or 40 men.
There's 60. These would hold 60 men. I don't. But I know for sure that they had horses in this one before we got in. The sign was still there. We had to sit in, stand in.
How crowded was it with 60 men in that car?
It was crowded. We couldn't hardly sit down. It was great to because we stopped with this. First night, we were locked in the boxcars. We moved into a railroad yard and stopped and stayed there for 3 days. The first night we were bombed by our own plane. That railroad yard was bombed. Not knowing that we were there, cars.
What was your reaction? What were you thinking doing that?
Scared today. There was a car ahead of us. A guy got out. I don't know how they done it. We got out of that car and unlocked her, and they couldn't unlock our car. We was only 2 cars that lot. Before we get out, the rest of the cars were. You know, our door wasn't locked. We got out, went out there in the field, lay down till we got through bombing, and then we went back and got in. Scared to death. We didn't know where we was at or where we could go or anything. You know, we got back in. They counted us to be sure that we was all back in there. But one good thing happened there. The bomb hit a water line. The water was shooting way up in the air, and several guys run down with helmets and filled a helmet full of water. We got a drink of water. It was the best water ever. So we were dying for water. We hadn't had any water for a long time. No food or nothing.
Do you know where you were? What part of Germany?
No, I don't know what it. I think it in that memo. I think it tells. And when I visited Mr. Shrink out there, he reminded me of. I mean, brought back memories too. He knew at some of the towns we were in. He told me a lot of things that we'd done that I forgot about. I remember.
Mm-hmm. So from there, what happened?
Well, in December, we was captured the 19th. That's when they got us, the evening of the 19th of December. We walked behind the barbed wire, 25th, Christmas Day. Bad Ore. We were unloaded at the town of Bad Ore and walked about 3 miles uphill to the camp. We walked in there and never worked till April the 2nd.
How many prisoners were at Bad Ore?
How many? Oh, it was 89,000, I guess.
And that was Stalag
9B.
9B. What part of Germany is that located?
It's 35 or 40 miles south of Frankfurt. The maps of it, remember.
And what were the living conditions in Bad Ore?
The what?
The living conditions were?
Poor. We had double bunks. And the big building was divided. We, you know, the petition in there. There's about 270-some people on our side, and about that many on the other side of it. And of course, me having my GI blanket, they wouldn't give me one jungle blanket, you know. But the guy that I was with, they gave him a jungle blanket. This is another guy that me and him slept together. This truck driver and I got separated. We didn't want together in the camp. But this other guy, I had a top bunk and he had the lower bunk, and he come up, slept with me at night on my bunk, slept on my blanket. I slept on his blanket, German blanket, covered up in mine. The next day we spent time taking fleas off of his life, off each other, you know, like. They run us out and count us and almost freeze to death. Get a little cup of coffee in the morning. We carried in there in 50-gallon can. At noon we go to the kitchen and get a little dab of soup. Whatever we had to get it in, a helmet or a can or whatever we had. They was up the window and they just put the soup in there. And every evening we got a little piece of bread, a little loaf of bread, cut it 6 pieces. Guys tried to keep the bread, you know, as long as they could. A lot of them would slice, again, overnight and slice it as thin as they could, you know, and stick some of it in the pocket, keep it warm. A lot of times they go to bed with that in the pocket, next morning they wouldn't be there. Somebody always have it. Hungry human being is a lot worse than a hungry dog. A starving dog, you know how vicious they can be. And I believe a human being hungry like that, I mean hungry, is more vicious.
What did that hunger feel like? What does hunger feel like?
Annoying feeling. I don't know this. after so long a time, it kind of, you know, your stomach shrinks up, and it's not quite as bad as when it first started. First, I don't know, a week or two without anything, I don't know, it's hard to describe.
Tell about the horse's head.
Yeah, we knew we had horse meat to eat in that soup. Whenever we got a little piece of it, it wasn't really very big, but one little guy walked up at the window, you know, and took his cup in, and they shoved the whole horse's head out too. I mean, the whole thing, bones, just none but bones, a little meat here and there on the bones. But that's what he got. The whole head, and he carried it out there and sat down and started taking a little meat off it, and everybody stopped getting their food, you know, and stood there and watched him eat. We were in Kansas City here this last week and saw a guy that saw the same thing. He missed the same thing that he was there when it happened. But well, if we got a little piece of meat or a little piece of potato pretty solid, you know, we really hollered, look what I got, you know. Got solids.
What kind of work do you have to do in the camp?
Well, I was lucky. I didn't have to do any. I did have to get out and work on the trench there beside the building where, you know, got in a case of bombing. But a lot of them went on with wood details, where I cut wood for the barracks and for the Germans. And those are, of course, were weak when they went out there to work, couldn't work. They beat them up a little bit in the Rocky Bus. I was really fortunate on that. I didn't have to. I didn't get in on that detail. It was pretty rough. Of course, when they were captured, a lot of them didn't make it to prison camp because they couldn't work on railroad right away, and they wasn't signed up to POW. Of course, they shot up a lot of them out there. There was a lot of them shot before they were rescued as POW.
Tell me about the German guards.
Well, the guards we had were old, let's say old soldiers. They'd been in, but they wasn't really on active duty yet. They just guard. But they were unhappy with their job, of course, and they didn't want to be there as much as we didn't want to be there. But we had one guard that talked English, you know. By the time he come around, we really got on to, you know, about how things were going. And we had the guy that was in charge of the barracks could talk German, and he listened to radio, listened to the news, and he come in and tell us, you know, the German story of it, and what he thought was our story of it, how the war was going. And we knew they were getting close to us because of the news. And we could, before they got there, we could hear them coming, you know, hear the artillery getting closer to us.
Would you describe the barracks you were in? How big was the barracks?
Oh, it was a pretty large building, just an old wooden building with concrete floor.
One story?
One story. And had, of course, I say double bunks, and had held 279, I think it was close to 280 people in it. On one end, they had a hole in the floor out here where everybody used the restroom. You know, that kind of got to be a mess.
Mm-hmm.
They'd bring in, what stuff we call it?
Lime?
Lime, put on it, kind of keep it mellowed out. But that was our toilet, restroom. Of course, we had an outside restroom with a slit trench and old hole set on. So it was cold out there. But it was, I don't know, it's a pretty good sized building, pretty large.
Was that camp for enlisted men only? The 9B?
As far as I know, that's all.
What was the chain of command in the camp?
Chain of command.
I mean, did you have one prisoner in charge of everyone, or was there any chain of command at all inside the camp?
Well, Germans had theirs there, but ours was just had a leader, the barracks leader, I guess you call it.
Who was your barracks leader?
James Depperson. You know, I mean, he spoke German, and he kept up with the news. And we had a bad incident happened. Two guys broke into the kitchen and stole some food. Of course, they was in there when they got caught inside. There was two guys, and this guard come in, and one of them hid. And then, of course, this German saw this other one, walked up to him, talked to him, and the other guy come up behind him with a meat cleaver, hatchet, and him over the head, brushed his head open. Oh, it really set him off, the Germans. This guy come in and told us about it. He heard them talking, you know, and he said, things are going to get rough. And they threatened to take us out and shoot us 10 at a time till the building was found. They called us out there early. We didn't get no breakfast, nothing. Called us out there to count us. Snow on the ground. Had machine gun man with the tower man machine gun. And I walked out there and already some guys lined up. And I walked just as far back behind him as I could get. The snow, about that deep, I guess. I knew if they were going to start shooting, I was going to fall there in the snow. We stood out there several hours.
You ever find who did it?
They found two guys. The guy took them. We don't know what happened. After late that evening, after they found them, we got our food, all of it at one time. Coffee, bread, soup. Got a little extra that day, some green. They call it green. Yeah.
Were there any of the guards that were friendly to you?
Yeah, they were friendly to us. These guys were. Yeah. They treated us best as they could with what they had.
Any other incidents besides that one with the two guys in the kitchen?
Yes, we were strafed by our own plane. Prison camp.
What happened?
We were outside watching planes flying, and tell they were ours. You know, we were happy about it. They were out there circling around, and first thing they lined up, and here they come right into the building, shooting 50 caliber machine gun. Several killed with that incident. We all made a run for our buildings. Of course, had this run through this slime out front, but I just slid through it right into it. Of course, they got that on, they couldn't get it off with no clothes. They had to wear it from then on. This one guy was laying on his bunk on his stomach. And he got up feeling good, you know, the guy around him was killed. He wasn't hit or anything, and he got up. When he stood up, one of his clothes just fell down. Where 50 caliber just went underneath between him and the bed. Just touched his skin. Just cut his clothes off of him.
So you could tell whenever the Allies were approaching the camp?
Yes, we could hear him in the distance. Then the Easter Sunday, Monday morning after Easter Sunday, when they come through the gates with tanks.
Who were the German guards at that time?
I don't know. We never did see them. They disappeared. Never did know. Nobody I've talked to knows what happened, what they went to.
When the tank came to the gate, what was your reaction?
Oh, just happy, you know. A lot of guys' reaction, they got in there and stole all the food they had off of it. They just stripped them of food they had on the tank. Of course, when they started eating, they got sick. Oh, sick, yeah. Miserable.
So what happened then? Where'd you go?
We just waited around a few days till they decided to move us out.
And did they bring in a mess tin or what, something to feed you all, or what?
Well, they own cooks. I mean, the American cooks come in and cooked up a bunch of potato soup with just like mashed potatoes, you know, with real thick soup. Of course, we had a sea ration until they started feeding the sea ration. That's what made us sick. And then we just waited till then I heard that they were moving to one of those sick call out first, so I went on sick call. Got on a plane, flew out of it.
Where they fly to?
The La Havre, France, at Camp Lucky Strike. I was there when President Roosevelt died. So sick I couldn't eat. My mouth was swollen up and all around in there was swollen. My throat, I couldn't swallow, I couldn't eat for a long time. And all that food there and I couldn't eat it. I was sick.
So how long are you there at Lucky Strike?
About 2 weeks, I guess. I got home the 28th of April. I had to work it.
What, did you fly home or come home on ship?
On ship. That was the best ride I ever had.
What ship did you come home on?
I knew you was going to ask that. I didn't know and I forgot again. I don't know what name it was. We got on, across the channel, got on the ship over to Southampton, England. Got on. I wasn't on the same ship as my buddy was, but they had trouble with their ship. They had rudder trouble. Took them a while longer to get back now. But we really had a good trip home. Our Air Force took care of us. They really served us.
Air Force.
Air Force. You know, they done all the work and all we done fed us. All we done was eat, sleep. They gained about 40,000 coming home.
And where'd you land?
New York.
Did you come by the statue?
Yep, I didn't see it again. It was night, late night. I didn't see it. I so hated it. We got on a troop train and come on in then.
What did you do the first thing you stepped foot on land in America?
I don't know. This is real. I'm just glad. I mean, we were happy to be back. I didn't get down and kiss the ground like a lot of them do, but I wish I had it that way. I was getting off that ship. I wasn't feeling it, I guess. All I could anyhow.
So you put on a troop train and where'd you go?
We come in to, so where did we come into? Into Missouri there.
St. Louis?
Now I come on, I got off it, I come on home. I mean, I didn't know it was
Fort Leonard Wood or?
And all Jefferson Barracks, I guess that's what
Yeah,
this program set up.
Then you came home from there?
Not
You
yet.
said you came on.
Come on is on leave for 60 days, I think it's on leave 60 days. Then went back to Hot Springs, Arkansas. I had to go through all of rigmarole, get my paperwork together, make new paperwork.
Did they or give you any kind of physical to see what kind of physical
Yeah,
condition you were in?
Yeah, examined us. Yeah, not too bad. That's about all we done down at Hot Springs.
And when did you get your discharge?
July the 15th, 45.
1945. What'd you do then?
Come home, July, and went to work in September for government.
What'd you do?
I went to work in the Effects Bureau, part of it up there.
And where?
The Effects Bureau, where we,
Kansas City?
all the effects of soldiers that was lost
Oh,
or
okay.
killed, brought in, and we cleaned them, cleaned them up, sent them home.
Okay.
We had grave bags to work with, rings and watches and money, clean up, smell still there with them. And what happened? Run out, I got to work with CIA then. No, it's FAA.
Is that why you came to Oklahoma City?
My job came to Oklahoma City,
And when did you move to Oklahoma City?
1958. Mike Maroney thought this was a better place for a central warehouse. We had regional warehouses, you know. That was the third region in Kansas City, and combined all the warehouses into one. And out here, the job come down here, and I had a bed on it to get it down here,
What was your job with the FAA?
and supply.
Supply?
Served all airports. When I retired, was the foreman over the shipping dock there.
Do you ever, well, I don't know how to ask that. Do you ever reflect back on your time as a POW? Do you ever, just give me your reflections on it, your time as a prisoner?
Well, I think back on it and wonder how I could survive over it, what I went through. But I guess I'm glad I had the experience. It was a wartime experience I've had. In the places where I could have died or been killed, but I didn't. I wasn't. The Lord watched over me, I guess. Took care of me all the way through. I mean, I didn't do it on my own because I could. But I feel like the Lord has watched over me. And of course, I didn't have the education to go through what I had. I went to 8th grade education back then. It's like a 3rd grade now. To work up to where I was in my job, I mean, I've done the work, but not what I knew. Hard work. That's all I've known all my life, hard work.
When did you get married?
That's the story itself. We were supposed to get married we planned it December 41, you know. 42.
December 41.
When Pearl Harbor happened. But anyhow, when Pearl Harbor happened, it interrupted everything, so I shipped out and went to Fort Lewis. She decided to come out there. Get married, her and another girl. We were on 30-minute alert all the time we were in Fort Lewis. Packed, ready to go. We go in 30 minutes. And she didn't know whether to be there or not when she got there. So she come out there, and we were married 3rd day of March in Olympia, Washington, the capital.
In 42?
42. Then I left in June and went to the Aleutian Islands. Of course, I had a son born while I was in the Aleutian Islands. I didn't see him till he was 16 months old. In fact, I didn't know he was born till he was a month old before I got word he.
Ma'am, what's your full name?
Helen Louise Beard.
What was your maiden name?
Beard.
Oh, that's right. I was going to ask, what was your reaction when you heard he was a prisoner?
Well, I didn't really know what to think because I had kept up with the whole thing through the papers and radio, and I pretty well knew what was happening from knowing the outfit that he was in. But then I finally got the missing in action notice, telegram, and of course I was very concerned, and but I felt somehow confident that he was going to be all right, which kind of helped carry me through. And it was quite a while before I ever got the prisoner of war telegram saying that he was a prisoner. All I knew for a while was he's missing in action. And then after that we got the prisoner, and then I could write to him, and he wrote to me finally, and I had a letter or two before he came home while he was a prisoner. And he wrote asking me to send him food, and I had to get special permission from the Red Cross, which I did, and I sent several packages, but he never did get any of them. So I don't know what happened to that. But he kept asking for cheese, canned meat, any kind of food, and we did send that.
Were you active in any home fund activities to support the war effort?
I worked for some sort of a war factory. We don't know exactly what it was. We weren't allowed to know what we were doing. We don't know. But we did work in a wartime factory. I did.
And what were your duties? What would you do there?
It was welding. I don't know, welding, and I don't know exactly what the parts were. Something to do with radar, but I don't know. We didn't never know
Did you
what.
have any training in welding before that?
No, I
Tell
had.
me about being trained as a welder.
Well, there wasn't a lot to it. It was kind of spot welding, and there wasn't a lot to it. We had to sandblast what we were doing first, and then spot weld the pieces together. And like I said, we just weren't told anything about what we were doing. We didn't know.
Was it arc welder or was it acetylene or?
Oh, I don't really know. It was some sort of looked like a little gun thing that it didn't have any fire to it. It was just electric.
And how long did you work there?
Oh, it must have been about all the time he was gone. Well, up until our son was born, and it was before that. And then I went back to work after that, and I worked in a shoe factory at Marshall, Missouri. Worked in a shoe factory there too. That we made Army shoes.
What were your duties there? What?
They called it closing the heel. Sewed the seam that went up the back of the heel, and then they were spread apart, and someone else did something else to them from there.
Were your letters censored that were going over?
Yes,
And
yes,
I guess your letters censored coming back too, weren't they?
yes.
Yeah.
They were. They were marked.
Yeah. Did you go meet him when he came home, or did he just come to?
He came to the town that we lived at that time, Marshall, Missouri, to the railroad station, and we met him there.
So you knew he was coming in?
Yes, we'd had information about that and knew that he was coming in. Expected him to be like some of the pictures that we've seen, where they were so skinny, but he had already gained back a lot of the weight at that time. So, looked pretty good to me.
Tell me about the XPOW organization. You know, when was it organized?
They've had this organization for, what's it, 50, in the
58,
50s,
did
I
they say?
don't know. And I haven't belonged to it since, but I can't remember dates now. We belonged to it 6 or 7 years, in last memory.
And you have meetings every year or
Every month,
every
second
month?
Tuesday of every month, we have regular business meetings, when it is, eat and.
Now, is it a local chapter? Is it
It's a
city?
Local chapter, and
Local
that,
chapter.
of course, it belongs to the national chapter too, the national and the local.
Now, the local chapter, is that a statewide chapter or just in Oklahoma City?
This Central Oklahoma chapter. what it
Central
is right
Oklahoma
now.
chapter. How many chapters are in Oklahoma?
Oh, 1, 2, about 6,
5, I believe.
5 or 6, yeah. Muskogee and Lawton,
Northeast,
Northwest, I don't know what's that.
Northwest here.
About 5 or 6.
And tell me about going out to visit Mr. Frank in Washington.
But what started this was, our chaplain in our local chapel here was in a meeting up Afton, somewhere up in there, and he had a guy to ask him if they knew of James Green. And everybody knows me as Jay now, right here, Jay. And he said, no, we don't know Jay, we know Jay Green, you know. And they was out talking to him about it, and they come back and they found out my name was Jay, didn't have. We was out riding with his son one day, and I mentioned to him, and he said, why don't you try to find out about it? I said, well, I guess I will, but then I said, I'd like to, one man, I'd really like to find out about him, old Pappy Frank, you know. He said, well, why don't we try? So we come back here to the house, and he got on the phone, and he started calling. He called Spokane, got the area codes, called out there, and asked them if they had a shrink listed. He said, we have one, you know, Ernest Frank. Of course, I knew it was Pappy, I didn't know what his name was, you know, and we said, well, would give us his number, so we got his number, called out there and found out he was his cousin. And they gave us his phone number and address in Lynn, where he was at, you know, Lynn, Washington. And one evening, I got a phone to call him. And I guess I listened to him about a half hour too. And I was really surprised. I asked him, you want to know who I was? And I said, well, you remember an old guy by the name of Green? Oh, he said, you my assistant truck driver. Yeah, I was. Of course, from that, we got started talking. We wanted to get together, so we decided we'd make a trip first, so we flew out there. Of course, we talked to him several times before we made the trip. And everybody was real excited and anxious for us to come out there. Of course, that first meeting was something else, I guess. After 42 years, you know, seeing the guy. The last I could remember, he was a large fellow. Of course, they sent his pictures, but he didn't look like what I thought he would when I got there. He was so old, and he had strokes and hardly able to get around. But it was quite a meeting.
Is he going to come here?
He plans on next year, if he's able. That's the only thing holding him back. Was he's had a couple of strokes. Can't hardly walk very good, and they use oxygen every night. They sleep with oxygen, I think, every night. Sometimes they're real. You couldn't ask for a better visit than we had. I guess. It just seemed like home folks the first day we were there. Just seemed like kinfolk.
Yeah.
But of course, he brought back memories, you know, the things I forgot about. Was he on the truck? What had we done? Where we went?
Anything in particular that he told that you remembered that he told you about?
He said on a march, you know, that he picked up a handful of snow. He gave it to me as clean as he could find, you know, and told me to eat that, so I did, and I don't remember that. And he said I kind of perked up after I ate that snow, but I don't remember anything doing that, but he said he did. Of course, he told about driving the truck and blackout, you know. When you drive blackout, all you got is a little bitty blue spot on the front of the truck, you know. And you almost hit the other truck. But sometimes you had to go against orders to do things that we had to get done, you know.
Like what? What you have to do?
Let's see, you remind me about the time we went and picked up some supplies or something, you know, and the officer told us to go somewhere which we couldn't go at the time. I don't remember now, but anyhow. But nothing serious, I mean, but I just can't remember a lot of things that happened.
Now, the 50 caliber that was on the truck, was it mounted on the ring up on, was it on
You know,
a ring
ring
mount?
on top. We had a cloth top where we just zip it, fold it back.
And could you stand up in the
I had to stand up, yeah, in the seat.
seat
In the
with
seat.
it?
I never did see nothing to shoot at, but I was ready. Come out. Of course, all that heavy artillery going over us. It looked like lightning, real bad lightning flashes. See the flashes of the artillery.
How close were you to the German lines when they broke through?
Well, we was on the 6 feet line and they come up. We was right on the German line.
And you retreated, were you going towards St. Biff?
Well, they surrounded us. We was inside the building, and they got around us in a snowstorm. That's what they were dressed in white. That's why they faked us out. Well, I've heard that our commanders were told that they were coming. They didn't believe me. No, they didn't think that they would do it. So I heard that George Patton was south of us about 100 miles. And General Hodges was north of us. And they sent word for them to come down there, to help us out when we was trying to get us out, Old Patton, he said, I'll be there. And Hodges said, well, I can't get down there that late time, Said, ain't no way I can get my men down there to help out, And Patton heard about it. He told him to stay where he was at, and I'll come up there. You just give him all, ram him jerry's up, And old Patton was rough, but he was one of the best leaders I guess they had. He was out there fighting in front. He wasn't behind.
And my father said he led his troops, he didn't send his troops.
Carrying them Pearl Handle 45, boy, he used them too.
You ever see Patton?
Not personally, no.
Were you ever in direct combat, except for the time you were taken prisoner? And
No, that's the only time. But I was in a truck convoy all the time.
any idea how the Germans were able to build up that much material without being noticed? How'd they do it?
Well, I really don't know how they did, but I saw movie shots of them after, but they were pretty slick at it. Old von Rundstedt, he's a general that said this is it, for Germany. He said, well, you got to do it now or forget about it, And he's the one that got it all together and built it up. Planned it right. I don't know how he could plan it in a snowstorm like he did, but he did. That's what he wanted. He got it. Said we're going on through to England. And it hadn't been for Patton, he would have, I believe. And he had a good start. He was going when Patton got them tanks in there and stopped him. Of course, all of our division was shot up, killed. 3 regiments of it. 1 regiment was behind the 424th. A lot of them got shot up too. It was rough.
Did the 106th Division survive the Battle of the Bulge?
No. We got a story on it, the death of the Golden Line somewhere.
Yeah. In fact, I think Mr. Woods made the comment, he said that the 106th took the brunt of the Bulge, and he said they never came back as a division.
No. The 1 regiment, 424th, was behind it. It got out mostly. But they were in the biggest battle. Of course, they got us right quick before we had a chance to do anything. They surrounded us. There wasn't much battle. 106 was laid out in front and they got behind us. And we couldn't do nothing.
How many casualties did the 106th take? How many were killed? Any idea?
Always way up in the thousands, yeah, I don't know if it's, we got some paper clippings of it, in that book, but I don't, maybe 10,000, I think, something like that.
Where was the 106th base? Where was the base in the States for the 106th? Or did it have a base?
In Indiana.
Indiana?
That's why I caught up with that.
Were most of the guys from Indiana in the division, or were they just all over?
Just all over, mostly from the east,
Mm-hmm.
New York, Ohio. It's,
Bulge Battle,
How many
1,277.
were captured in the Battle of Bulge? When did you go through Bastogne?
when you go through,
Yeah.
well, December the 11th when it went up on the line. That's the Bastogne, St. Vincent. You used to tell about the two generals fighting all the time in there.
In the German offensive, including 416 killed, 1,246 wounded, and more than 7,001 missing men are presumed to be prisoners.
That's 106.
Yeah, article here.
$8,663 casualties.